So welcome to our session on casting our vision, my plan for success. Now, I think the very first thing that you can know is that whenever you would set out to cast your vision or to sit down to plan or to really put a strategy in place, things most definitely will go wrong. You would have challenges, you would have to readjust, and that is just absolutely part of the process. Let's revisit goals. Remember, we said setting goals will help you to trigger new behaviors. I think this is one of the most important things. Why do successful people achieve success at such a faster rate? And I believe it's because they have got a little bit of tunnel vision. The moment they've set their goals and they start to keep their eye on that goal, they start behaving differently. You will see throughout the session how we are going to start measuring everything we do and everything we plan against our goals. Goals, at the end of the day, become the guide for your focus and attention. At the end of the day, all of us want to achieve our goals and want to live a life of passion and purpose, and we actually really like to be very productive. The only way we can become that is if something will change. Now, doesn't really matter where you are in your current situation. If you are not happy with that, you will have to change something. Whether it's a behavior, whether it's action, was actually always behavior. It's either behavior or mindset, but it's either the way you think or the things you do that will help you to change. And once you have goals that are clearly set in front of you, your focus and your attention all becomes geared towards this goal, and it helps you to make your decisions differently. Goals also help you to generate momentum. Now, remember, first off, it's quite difficult to generate momentum. Think of momentum as when your car got stuck next to the road and you have to start to push it. When it's from standing dead still, you really have to put a lot of energy into it. But as the car starts getting momentum, it actually gets easier to push. Now, always keep that in mind. Initially, in the beginning, setting a new goal in action or setting a new plan in action might be very tedious. It might feel like you're pushing against the dead weight, but just remember the flywheel effect. It will take long in the beginning or take a lot of energy and in the beginning, but as you start gaining momentum, you then sustain that momentum, and that becomes the secret weapon to success. Once you've actually gained that momentum, you want to go with that momentum and keep it, because that is what will propel you forward. I want to revisit vision just again. I think it is so important to understand the concept of vision and to understand why vision is so important. Why does it set other people apart from the rest? Now, I think the first thing I want to remind you is, remember, vision is the ability to see something that has not yet happened as if it does. Now, the very second thing that I want to say to you is, remember, vision activates faith. It's always very important to understand how the concepts or how the spiritual principles comes into play. Without vision, faith cannot work, because faith is the ability to take something from the future, which has not yet happened, to pull it into the now as if it's already happened. So by having a vision, we can then activate faith. Also, I want to share with you the fact that I believe that your vision is given to you as a person. It was not a conference call. It is a single thing. And why I'm saying this today is the fact that you need to understand that not everybody will understand your vision, and not everybody would really agree with your vision. People will have a lot of ideas about how your vision should be. Just remember this today. It's not a conference call. It was a private call. Hope begins with a vision. Once you have started to gain, once you sat down and you allowed yourself to dream again, the vision is cast. Then we are activating the principle of faith by putting a plan in action, where we are activating it as if it's already happened. And the moment we have put faith in action, hope starts to grow. We can very easily speak about hope and faith and grace and all these things. We don't know how it fits together. So you have to understand how important the catalyst of this all is vision. Vision also helps you to not get stuck in the now. It's very important, especially if you have got very big goals and very big dreams, to not be deterred by bad things happening to you. You know, life happens. And also to not to be stuck in the now, especially when you achieve some success. Personally, for me, when I have had to face hardships, it was easier for me to draw myself out and continue on. But very often success could easily get me stuck. But it's very important to know which one you are. You might be the one, the other one, you might be both, I don't know. But it is important to help you to not get stuck in the now, because we can very easily start to lose. So what happens when we get stuck in the now? We lose the long-term vision. We don't keep our eye on the future, and we start looking around us, the circumstances around us. And then we start believing the now more than the future, which then is the opposite of faith. The moment I keep my eye on what happens now and I take my goal off from the end line or the end goal, I get stuck here. And you have to understand this because it's very important. And you will see at the end of the day, if you can understand these little principles right in the beginning, you will see why we are going to do at the end what we're going to do. Because as our session progresses, I'm going to challenge you to make up a mood board of your dreams, because it's a visual representation that will assist us to not get stuck in the now. So we can have this conversation. It could be a brilliant conversation, and we can both walk away from the session absolutely feeling inspired. But if I don't have something that my eye can focus on, I am going to be very easily get stuck in the now. But when I have my vision board, I've got something that I can focus on. Because what I focus on is where I'll go. You can just look at an athlete when they run those sprints. They don't look left and right. They only look at the end line. I always think about the little grade ones when they go to school and they run their first athletics. That teacher spends a lot of time, and the only thing she trains them is you keep your eye on that chair. They put a chair at the end, or they put a teacher down there, and they only need to look for that person and run to them. Because there's value in the lesson. From a very young age, they get taught to keep their eye on the finish line. You will have dancers, especially ballerinas. If they need to keep their balance, if they do those pirouettes where they spin around at a high speed on those little tippy toes when they do those point shoes, what do? They spot. They look at one place, and as they swivel around, they flick their head, and they don't look all around the room, because that will throw them off balance. They quickly spin their head around and look again straight forward. They only look at one marker, because that helps them to keep the balance. And what you need to understand is that for every principle, there is a physical value to it as well as a spiritual value to it. So the same technique of keeping my eye on one dead spot helps a ballerina to not fall off her toes and an entrepreneur to not miss the mark. Vision creates a sense of purpose, and that will help you to design your destiny. And I think after we had our session on building building our branding statement, something got alive inside of you, and there's something alive in you that starts to vibrate. All of a sudden, you're a little bit excited. You're a little bit better than you were yesterday. That is that vision that comes alive. Now, I want to say another thing to you. Your vision should always be out of reach. Ouch. Your vision should always be out of reach. If we were sitting in a one-on-one session right now and it looked to me as if you make the end line easy, I would push you to go further. Now, what I want to encourage you is you don't believe that the vision that you have is the end line. It is just a point where your eye can see now. But as closer that you'll get to your vision, your eye will automatically move a little bit further. So the dreams and goals that I had when I was 19 years old are different to the ones that I have now. They all line up with the same, it's got the same storyline, but every time it pushes a little bit faster, it pushes a little bit further. So vision will and should always expand. If your vision is not expanding to something bigger, you need to have a little pep talk with yourself, because then you are starting to limit your own belief system. We are constantly made to grow. If I go from here to there, I need to go again. Whenever you get to that finish line, you have to push further. And that is really the key to an effective, focused life. We look at people that accomplish so many things. They write 50 books, they paint paintings, they travel the world, they start companies, they do all these things. They solve problems. They are effective because they know exactly what it is that they want. And they start with a flywheel effect. Now, I don't believe any one of these people ever started off with 50 in line. They just started with, if I can just do that one thing, or if I can just do this one thing. And then it started to accumulate. Remember the flywheel effect again? So it starts gaining momentum. And as the momentum gain, and you are a visionary, because you are a visionary, you were born to be a visionary, your vision will grow and it will accelerate. And then I want to say something. Your vision is not ahead of you. It's inside of you. You literally do not have to go and search for outside factors to find out who you are. All of that is already on the inside of you. And that's what makes it really, really excited. Vision will control your life. People without vision, or let me say it like this, people who live a life where there's no self-control are people without a vision. Anything goes. Everything goes. Nothing is off limits. However, vision brings order. Vision will bring you to the point where you would start to measure everything that you do against your vision, and maybe not in the beginning. So maybe you would say to me, this is not true, but I promise you, the more clearer your focus becomes on what it is that you want to accomplish, what it is you want to do, the more self-control, automatic, this is an automatic process, because you start asking yourself, is this really what I'm going to do with my time today? Or is this what I'm going to do? Because you know what, I'm actually in a nice momentum phase. So instead of going to do this thing, which might be fun, I can actually go and do this thing, which is more effective. So vision definitely brings order. Vision will actually also simplifies your life to the point where people that never belonged in there would actually just fall away. It is not even as if you make like a public announcement to all the bad people in your life and saying to them that you're now going to live a vision or a goal-directed, purpose-driven life. They just go away automatically. A vision cleans out the fluff. It makes life simple. Vision also births leadership. Because people with a vision attract other people, and then you become a leader. So if you think you are a leader and you don't have a vision, then you have to really sit down and ask yourself again, are you really a leader? Because you have got a couple of people in your sphere of influence doesn't particularly mean that you're a leader. But leaders are ones that births vision, or vision actually births leadership. Vision helps you to navigate the decisions, and it also protects you from good things. The moment you know exactly what it is that your vision is and what it is that you're going to aim towards, like I just now said, you're going to really ask yourself, am I really going to do this, or am I really going to do that? I find myself becoming selfish with my time as to where I spend it, because I really would like my time and my energy to bring me closer to my dream and my goal. And that urgency picks up, I believe, in two folds: as we get older and as we get closer to our vision. I say vision protects you from good things, because the only thing that can deter you from reaching your goals is when you are busy with good things. Now, you can do a lot of good things, and they are good, but they might deter you from your vision. So I always ask myself, because I used to be the yes person. It doesn't matter what you ask me, I said yes, because I've got a large skill of, my abilities are, I've got a lot of abilities. I can do a lot of things. I don't think I can tap dance, but I can do a lot of things. So I would tend to always just say, yes, 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 I'll do this. I'll help you with that. And I would totally overload myself to the point where my vision was really suffering. So even though doing all these things were good, it wasn't in line with my vision. And then I didn't start saying no because I was spiteful. I thought I was better than other people. I started saying no because I didn't believe that that was the best place or the best way for me to spend my energy and my time in. Vision changes you from being busy to effective. I don't need to be 24 hours a day busy, but I can be 8 hours a day busy, but being 24 hours effective. And vision does that for you. Remember one thing, if I can channel my energy into one solid direction, my outcome becomes so much bigger and I don't get tired. And therefore, it is important to understand that when I have a strong vision, I am allowed to start saying no for other things. Your purpose will preserve your life. And I said this the other day. Your purpose, your strong purpose, your goal-driven lifestyle will preserve you in the times where things are difficult or where your challenges are huge. I'm not saying that you will not go through the emotions, that whatever problems are in your life, the emotions won't go away, but you will not get stuck. And you can just sit now and think about people in the last year that really gone through a lot of trauma, how they are stuck. And if you want to help those people, you have to sit with them and have this little vision talk. And would you believe it that we are the only creatures in the world that try to be somebody else? I don't see fishes trying to fly. I don't see elephants trying to run a race. I don't see buffaloes climbing in trees. Yet we are the only ones that tries to be other people. Your vision will require a different version of yourself than anybody else. And therefore, what fits into your lifestyle and that fits into your group and the people that will sit around your table will be different to those that sit around mine. And I might even sit and look at you and your table, and I might have a lot of opinions over why I think the wrong people are there. There's not enough people around there, but it's not for me. It's very important to always have a mentor and to seek counsel and to have somebody that can broaden your horizons. But they might not, and they don't need to understand your journey as much as you do. So just a couple of notes to remember as we are going into this workshop right now. This is about you, and it's about spending time on something like a mood board, and it's perfectly acceptable. When we go into our mood board creation, somebody in your house might come and say, "Sure, are you really not doing this?" And I want to say, this is about you, and you deserve this. You are allowed to be great. And you also are allowed to want things that are bigger and better than what they are right now. And you are not in competition with anybody else. You are the only thing that you are allowed to do is to sometimes look in the mirror and then remind yourself how far you have come. It's not about comparing yourself with the person next to you, with a fellow sister, with a fellow business associate. You're just allowed to look in the mirror and remember how far you've come. I know for myself, sometimes when I'm really, really feel that I'm like so stuck, I just go and I say to myself, where were I 1 year ago? And very often my Facebook posts help me to see that, or 5 years ago. And then I'm so glad that I could have a moment to look in the rearview mirror. And then I turn my head quickly. So I need to keep my eye on the end line, and then I move forward. So we are going to create a focused approach. Now, I think maybe what I want to say up front is that we are not just only, the whole aim is not to create a one-directed thing. This is not about just buying a lot of stuff. This is not just all about health. We are going to try and create a focused approach. So I have put together a couple of slides. I think there are 12 of them that will define 12 different areas in your life. And what I want you to do as you go through this presentation is you might, in between every slide, just quickly want to hit the pause button and continue writing down all the thoughts that comes to your mind. So right now, you're back in your journal. You are just going to jot a couple of things, short sentences, keywords. This is not about writing an essay. And then as we're going to come back in the next session, then we're going to see how you are going to put that over into a picture or something that will make sense to you. But as I'm going to present the 12 slides with you, you might decide there's only 5 that is applicable to you, or you might come up and say there's 3 more. So you are allowed to amend them and change them as you go. So the very first thing that I know is there is a personal brand. You might want to live a certain life. You might want to do your nails. You want to get good skincare products, makeup, all those things become part of who we are. It really is part of who we are, and it is okay. It is also fine for the people who are not into beauty to be fine with that. But your personal brand, what it is that you want, maybe you just really want to upgrade your hairstylists, and that is going to cost you some money, or that is really who you want to be in your whole personal brand. Let's talk about companionship and marriage. So what is it that you would want in your current relationship, or maybe if you're single, what you want in your future relationship? And what would be the kind of things that will pull you together, that will keep you together, and that will help you to build lasting memories? Now, these things can include things like holidays alone. I mean, for instance, me and my husband, we always go for the week of our anniversary for 3 or 4 days somewhere. Remember, I've got 4 children, so the house was always hectic. So that was our 2 or 3 days a year alone that we would just go away for our wedding anniversary. But that always cost us some money. It always came at an expense. Maybe hiking is your thing. Maybe you've hiked and now you just want to up your hiking skills, and maybe you want to really go and do a 2 or 3 or 4 day trail or something like that. So what is it that will help you to build your relationships? Just your family. What is it that you would love to bring into your family? Is it to spend some time together? Is it to get extra tutoring, family holidays? It doesn't really matter. But what is it that you would like to see for your family? Maybe in your family here, what you want is family unity. How would you like to build family unity? I think the first thing that comes up to me, maybe in this little slot, would be something like hiking together, or picnics. Or maybe a board game. There's nothing that brings the family dynamics together like playing a board game. A lot of opportunity to teach your children strategy and to teach them small little life lessons while everybody is having fun. Personal growth and development. I think this one is quite important, because maybe at this point, one thing that you would say to me is, I really want to get a personal trainer, or maybe I want to go to the gym. Maybe you have got a dream to write, whether it is short stories, whether it is to write a biography. I don't know what it is. Maybe writing is your thing. Maybe reading is your thing. Maybe you never got time to read and you just want to really go into reading, or anything that's self-development. Maybe you want to invest some money into upskilling yourself in which area you need. So that would be things that you would put in here. Remember, this is now personal development. This is not developing your family. We're going to develop the family just now. This is about you. Your career and your calling, maybe the children, maybe private tutoring, maybe from a state school to a private school, maybe from normal school to homeschooling, universities, whichever it is. Maybe you want to finish your own degree, and that is something that has not yet done. There's nothing, I think, that can sometimes make you feel as much a failure as when you are nearly done with your degree or with your studies and you've just not yet finished it. I can tell you right now, just go and finish it. Write in for that final subject or that final semester and just get it done. It will really help you to feel a lot better about yourself. Partnerships. So maybe in this whole endeavor for you to achieve these big goals and to achieve these big dreams, you realize that you are going to have to partner up with people. Maybe it would be tutoring for your children. Maybe it would be somebody to help you in the house. I know without my helper in the house, I would not be able to do what I do. So that's definitely one of my very important partnerships. Maybe you would get somebody to help you in your business. Maybe it would be a coach. Anything that will help you to further yourself or that will make out a partnership is maybe something that you need to put on there. I always have got a coach in my on my planning. I always need somebody to push me further. This year, believe it or not, my coach, my new coach for the year is my art teacher. And I can tell you one thing, she's teaching me a lot. She's teaching me so much. So don't you think that it should be this specific coach or a business coach or whatever it is. Sometimes you'll find coaching in the most peculiar places. Then recreational renewal. I mean, isn't it fun to travel? Isn't it fun to go kayaking? Maybe you decide everybody needs a new bike. Maybe it's movies once a month, once a week. I don't know what it is. But you should have something up there that represents recreational and rest, because there is the biggest lie is that you have to work all the time. Just as the biggest lie is you have to work a very little to get a big reward, but you have to have some downtime. You have to have some time to relax and to renew yourself. You deserve it, and your family deserve that too. Spiritual growth. This all depends on what it is which part of your belief system. It always needs, and it always serves you well to spend time into your spirituality, whether it is for a breakaway, whether it is for some time to just go and recover and recuperate, if it is to go and attend a camp or a women's retreat or whatever it is. Always make sure, I try to, at least once a year, have some kind of a weekend retreat thing, which will serve me on a spiritual level. I must say, sometimes I do 2 or 3 or 4 of them throughout the year, but this is definitely something that's in my calendar. Financial stability. What is it that you want to do? You know, do you want to pay off some debt? Do you want to get a second bond, or not a second bond, a second title deed? We don't want bonds, we want title deeds. But what is your financial goals for yourself? Health and wellness. You know, maybe you realize, because this, I can tell you right now, it doesn't help if you are majorly successful. You can have one of the biggest corporations in this world. You can be the prettiest. You can do your hair at the most expensive salon. But if your health is not there, you have to invest in your health and your wellness as much as every other area in your life. So what will that mean for you? Then obviously building a legacy. I know there's a lot of people that I always see that has got some kind of a legacy building business or legacy building thing that they have in their life, and that's who they want to be. And if you don't have a legacy plan right now, it's fine. We can always do that later on. So yes, this is now at the point, as I believe that you hit the pause button all in between, that you can now put down your journal, and you can now take out all those magazines that you gathered. Now you can do this in a hard, in like, let's call it old school, where you are now going to gather all these little pictures that represent all these things that you've put down on the list. Don't try and be too rigid. Remember, this is a creative process. But you're going to page through all these magazines, and that's why I told you to bring magazines that is of your interest. If you are doing this with your children, get them magazines that is of their interest. Now, I do know that our children are very easy to do these things now digitally. Maybe you also want to do it digitally. It's absolutely not a problem. This is your life. It is how you are going to design it. So whether you choose to take your magazines and start tearing out all those pictures right now, or whether you're going to take your tablet and design this on a digital format, it doesn't really matter. However, if you do it digitally, you have to commit to go to the printer. It's going to cost you like about 50 Rand, and you're going to print it out on a nice big, at least like an A0 format. And you're going to bring that back and you're going to put it up. So it's now time for the fun to begin. I do suggest that right now you make sure that your coffee is nice and hot, or your glass of wine is full, or the cold drink is out. So you maybe open that pack of chocolates now, and especially if you've made this a family affair, have the music on, music that you like, really put it loud, enjoy it. And when you start going through your magazines, you're going to start going through the magazines and pull out anything that relates to anything in your vision board. You might not specifically get the exact couches that you really want for your living room, but it could be something close enough. You might not even go and pick the exact location of the overseas holiday that you want, but it could just be something that says travel overseas. Also look for wordings. I love those headings that's in the magazines. I sometimes clip them out and make my own headings. This is really, really about being creative and a lot of less thinking. Don't try and overthink this. This should be fun. Whether you like to do them very structured and they must all be square, whether you like to cover the whole page, you can doodle. Remember, I said bring your Cokie pens or crayons or highlighters, anything you can bring out now. Whether you want to draw things, whether you want to pull your computer closer and say, I need a picture of this. You know how easy we can find these pictures on the computer. We can print it out. You can clip it out and put it onto your vision board. You are right now just absolutely allowed to just have fun. Look for words that create exactly what it is that you want to say. Maybe look for things that create a feeling. I can remember on one of my vision boards, I have got a beautiful tree with a swing, one of those tire swings, and it just looks pretty. And then this lady sits on the swing. Now, for me, what attracted me to that picture was not the swing or the activity of swinging on it, but what attracted me was the fact that she looked what I would think peaceful, fulfilled. So I took that picture out. On that same vision board, I've got a bottle of perfume. Now, I love perfume, and you know how we all are about our perfume, but specifically that perfume had the name fragrance. And I just always know that when I am in the vicinity of people, I need to be aware of the fragrance that I would give off. For me, I need to remember that when I'm in between other people, I need to make sure, or I want to. It's not that I need to do it. It is my desire to make sure that I give off a fragrance that is well-pleasing to them. So look for all those things. And like I said, I want to encourage you to right now hit the pause button again. And this can take you for as long as 2 hours. For as long as 2 hours, you can just go and have an absolutely blast. Well, welcome back. And I want to say to you that if we were sitting around a table right now, this would be the most powerful moments because goals are for display. If you've done this with your children or with a friend or anybody around you, it is now show and tell time. I want to challenge you to show and tell and share with them exactly why and what your thinking was behind things. And a lot of these things are very personal. And when you get to something which you just feel you don't want to share with somebody right now, that is fine. I do believe that we need to be very careful who we share our hearts with because remember, like I said way in the beginning, sometimes people don't understand why we do the things we do. And then I'm going to challenge you and you can decide how you want to do this, but most of you would have my number. I want you to do a little video for me about your vision board and send it to me because there's value. I'm not going to post it anywhere. There is absolutely value for you to acknowledge the vision and the dream that you have and to speak it into existence. It will make me feel good. I love vision boards. This is one of the things that I love to do. I tell you, because I know the power that is behind this. And then I'm going to challenge you to put your vision board up at a place where you can see it in a daily fashion. Daily, you need to walk past it. And once a week, you are going to stop right in front of that vision board and you are going to go through it because you need to keep your eye on the end goal. And then monthly, you are going to stop there again and say to yourself, am I focused on this? What have I done to accomplish this? What have I done to accomplish this? Now, let's say a simple thing. Let's say, for instance, you've got a credit card. and you set in your vision board that you really need to pay the credit card off. Obviously, the sensible thing would be to go and find extra money in your budget and all allocate it to the credit card. So maybe at that point, what you need to do, if you were like me, I'm a huge coffee drinker. And then maybe what I'll do right next to my vision board is I'll take a nice picture of a coffee mug or a cup of coffee, and I'll put a red ribbon right through it to make it like a no entry sign, because I need to remind myself that I cannot go and buy a cup of coffee for a takeaway. Every 25, or I think a coffee is 40 Rand by now, every 40 Rand that I get must go towards the credit card. So daily, instead of buying a cup of coffee for 40 Rand, I'm going to deposit that extra 40 Rand into my credit card bill to make sure that I'm done. And maybe in 4 or 5 months from now, you can go and remove that red ribbon that you put over your coffee mug, and you are allowed to have that again. So it's about seeing it daily. It's about focus on it on a weekly basis, and monthly it is about tracking. And I want you, when you stand in front of your vision board every month, I want you to address every single vision and say, this vision of going overseas, what plans have I put in place to make sure that I'm getting to you? This plan for me to go to the gym or to become more healthy, what have I done to start focusing on you? And don't beat yourself with a stick over the head if you don't feel, because you will feel that you are not achieving it as quick as you should have. Even for myself, I always feel I should be able to achieve all of my dreams and all of my goals much faster than I do. But be patient, because this is an amazing task that you're taking up. The resistance will be there, and you don't need to be the one resisting yourself or giving yourself a lot of flack. I hope that you will enjoy this vision board as much as I do. And then I decided I just want to share this with you. I love reading, and the book that I'm currently reading is this one of T.D. Jakes, and it's got the name of Soar. So if you order it from Take-A-Lot, it is the cheapest at Take-A-Lot. I think they are actually having it on a promotion for about 110 Rand. But I put 150 Rand up there because I know when you find it online, you're going to feel like you've got a bargain, and we all love a bargain. But I want to share with you why I like this book at this stage. T.D. Jakes writes a lot about spiritual principles, and he is an entrepreneur. I wonder if you knew that. But he is a serial entrepreneur. And I am going to say, I want to read this for you. And he says, in Soar, T.D. Jakes reveals how to build the unique vision within each of us into our special contribution towards the world. And then he says, bridging. Here it is. It's an inspiring glimpse into the mindset of people who strategically build the wings they need to take themselves to new heights. Buckle your seatbelt and prepare for liftoff. You have just been cleared to fly beyond your fears and to absolutely soar. So this is my favorite book that I'm reading right now. It is Soar from T.D. Jakes. You get them in way more expensive prints as well, but I love this little print. I bought actually mine from the bargain books at 150 Rand, but it's definitely what I'm reading right now, and I truly do enjoy it. So that is all from me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for buying into my vision. And like I said, I really look forward to you, to seeing you soar. For me, I'm Corné, and I'm signing off. And I hope that you will have an immensely productive life from here on. And I know that we will connect soon.